Yep, we're live. Hello, hello.
We're here.
Can you believe it, dude? We're here. We're like in the same spot at the same time.
See, look, this is real. Bing. We're actually in the same room.
I'm stoked, man. I'm really stoked.
And we made it barely, but we made it.
Yeah, and it's really weird because my studio's not really set up for multiple people with just a webcam. I have a big one that a responsible podcaster would have set up like before you got here and shit. But
we've been busy. We've been
having fun.
We got in late, and we've been having fun.
Yeah. So talk to us about that. What was the drive down like?
Well, I was coming down on kind of a shoestring budget as it was because my move cost me quite a bit more, but I could not go. Like everything was kind of riding on this.
Right.
And, my grandmother and you and my daughter and my son, like everybody needed this. And so I was like, I'm just going to go. Like I'm going to try to sell some comic books on the way. I'm going to try to make this work. And then about 4 hours into the trip, we were in the Tri-Cities. We were in Kennewick, and I had serviced the car before we went, but my water pump blew in my car, and I mean it blew on the freeway. Boom! Boom.
Fine time to have your water pump blow.
Yeah. So we pulled off real quick. Shut the engine down. Got towed to the nearest place that aligned with our insurance.
Yeah.
And sat there, putting us behind, which we left a day late anyway for a bunch of other reasons, but it put us back like 6 hours or more on the trip, just sitting on the grass out in front of a Firestone waiting for our water pump to be put on, which then ended up costing me nearly $1,100, which fortunately, like, we were going to turn around because it was just, that was done, and you were like, no, let's just go.
I'm not gonna like just let the entire family vacation be destroyed because of a stupid water pump. Like, we had to get you back on the road. Yeah, of course. So what do you first impressions of the desert, the Southwest?
Well, I personally have been to Vegas 4 times now. So this was my 5th trip to Vegas, but I never left the Vegas area from the airport, basically.
Yeah.
Cars, taxis or whatever to downtown or whatever. And I've driven through certain parts of Nevada in that regard, but
yeah.
Staying here in an extensive kind of situation is different, especially at this time of year. And my kids say it's Star Trek beautiful, but it's also, it is gorgeous, but it's hot.
Yeah, it's hot. So I think we just kissed over 100 degrees a couple of times today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's going to be hotter. It's going to be a sustained 106, and It'll probably climb to maybe 108, 110 in the afternoon. So it'll be a little bit hotter, but
melt my shoes hot.
Yeah, melt your shoes hot. Today was fun though, man. Like we went out to.
Well, first we started with we got here last night and you cooked us
we barbecued a little bit.
Yeah, you smoked us a dinner on the tomahawks.
Yeah,
and then and it was the first real food because the first drive
just eating road food.
Right. Besides the 6-hour layover in the Tri-Cities, the first drive is a 7 to 8 hour drive to Boise anyway.
Yeah.
We got in late, stayed at my friend Tom's, and then got up super early and got back on the road, and that's a 10-hour drive. So we got here at just perfect dinner time, sat down, but we didn't really stop outside of like Love's gas station food and like an occasional Chick-fil-A or something to that effect. So we hadn't eaten real food, and so you served us some delicious real food. And then this morning we get up and sat in the hot tub last night, which was super needed.
Yeah.
And then we got up this morning and you made us primo
The breakfast burrito.
burritos and with homemade tortillas. And no, fantastic.
Actually, yeah, I made some homemade chipotle sauce.
Yeah.
I made some homemade tortillas. Got the beans rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
Eggs and sausages. It was a good time. And then, we're going to do dinner here in a little bit, probably right after the pod.
Yeah.
Which is going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm really excited you guys are here. I'm also, I have to readdress some stuff that I said on the last week's pod regarding Star Trek and my review, or Star Wars, and my review of the Star Wars Acolyte show.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't believe I actually went hard enough. And at the end of last week's episode, I went and I watched episode 3. And
I've heard about this.
it is so much worse than even I had initially said. And I'm not a person that like grew up loving Star Wars. So I'm a fan of Star Wars, but I'm not, it like didn't have as much meaning to me. So I don't think I can put the right words on it. But what happened in episode 3 was so unbelievably bad. It completely invalidated Anakin being the chosen one, the entire premise behind that. It painted the Jedi up to be like child snatchers and like thugs, and just using the Force, which they refer to as the thread, as a way to exert power over other people and marginalized groups. It was so horrible that like I wish I would have saved the review for this week, because I knew I was going to watch episode 3 and just see like, I could look past this, whatever. I don't like the wooden acting. I don't like how bad stuff like is going on in the series. It is so much worse than I had said last week. And all the Star Wars fans, I am so sorry. Like, I'm done with Disney Star Wars.
Yeah,
I'm done with Disney Star Wars.
Wow.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard that there is essentially I would imagine a planet, but like a tribe of basically lesbian space witches.
Yeah, they're like lesbian communist space witches.
Yeah, and they basically do force immaculate conception stuff.
Yeah,
it's kind of not only an affront to Star Wars, but also kind of a big middle finger to Christianity in a weird way, from what I've gathered, that they really weren't super subtle about it either.
There's definitely undertones of that, but the absolute killer part is, like Anakin was supposed to be the chosen one, the Immaculate Conception. It was the midichlorians and whatever, and there is no father. And this was more like, haha, just joking, lesbian space communist witches from hundreds of years earlier have been doing this the whole time.
So it makes Darth Vader's character not special at all.
They took where the Skywalker saga was set to begin, backed up 100 years, and cut it off and went, nope.
Wow. For what purpose other than to destroy it?
To destroy it. Yeah. The episode 3 felt like Leslie Headland was working something out in real time, like emotional shit.
Like her own...
Like it was a therapy session.
Ugh.
It was... And, it's like, okay, I'm willing to look past the, like, Force DEI. I'm willing to kind of look past a few of these things for the sake of, is there a story that's going to emerge in this somewhere? And what emerges is, like, body positivity Padawan. And you're like, oh, but aren't you as a Padawan supposed to be like training the mental and physical part to your absolute limit so that you can be disciplined enough to use
Jedi or anybody within the Force realm, like using, they're supposed to be essentially peak athletes.
They're bumbling fucking idiots. And like, poison was used to kill this Jedi Master who obviously used it himself and committed suicide. An apothecary in town must have delivered this, blah, blah, blah. This is poison from a specific planet that I'm from. And they're like, oh, yeah, I guess this is the only apothecary in town, literally right across the street from the Jedi Temple, where the guy kills the shop owner and assumes his role and position so he could blend into the town and supply poison to the strong female character number 1. And the Jedi are just like, oh no, I've never seen this guy before. Like, it's that bad. Like, they didn't investigate that. It wasn't, nobody saw it. Like, this is so bad. It is. So I apologize to Star Wars fans for not going hard enough. It is an absolute waste of your time.
I hope
it's a cesspool
that not only
of ideology.
Is there a financial accountability that's held to them on this?
Yeah.
But I would actually even applaud a retribution of some sorts of them going, oh, no.
Well,
you need to absolutely pay for what you've done, kind of thing, you know? And I think that it's warranted. It's warranted for, you know, everyone's like, it's just Star Wars, it's just entertainment, who cares? It's more than that. There is a cultural impact that Star Wars has had since the 70s, and it needs to be understood that you just don't get to strip that down for your own, I don't know, your own ghosts and demons that you carry with you, and try to push that on the rest of the culture that has gone along with this since the 70s, you know. And it's not fair to everybody else for you to take and put your own stamp on it because you feel like it. And there needs to be retribution. I want her removed, fired, and, you know, canceled in the way that they've canceled everybody else for the sin of you know, going against the narrative or whatever. But
you can see the fall off a little bit, but this is their stock price over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
It's just been on the trend line down. And for the last month, we had a spike of $1, $3 on May 31st. And since the release of that show, which is this peak right here,
right,
let's call it this peak right here, it bounced at the release by 80 cents and then it tanked.
Yeah, like badly.
So I think the shareholders see it. I think the fans see it. And when you look at the Metacritic scores and stuff, the fan is down to like 13-14% on Rotten Tomatoes, where all of the critics are still have it at like 84-85% because they're just nom Disney, yeah, I'll show whatever. It's pretty bad. So I had to lead with that. I didn't go hard enough. I apologize to fans of Star Wars that have been fans for years, like real, true, hardcore fans. This is so far beyond the death. Like, Kathleen Kennedy and friends are beating this into the ground, and it's brutal to watch. So I'm done. I'm done with Disney Star Wars.
Yeah.
I will not be watching what ep4 dropped last night. Not going to watch it. Don't care about the reviews.
I don't even know what
episode 4 of this series.
Yeah.
When EP5 comes out next week, nothing. Any of the subsequent animated or live action shows, I'm out. If Dave Filoni, Kathleen Kennedy, Leslie Headland, and the crew of crazies are off the scene, I might give them another shot.
Yeah,
but I'm out.
John Favreau would have to be at the helm for me to even consider anymore. And
yeah,
even then, like, I think John Favreau's credibility is going to be taking a hit just for the association with the franchise because of what these, you know, like John Favreau, you're going to try to do magic, but they've done so much damage that it's not going to help. And
yeah, you have to completely find a way to divorce the entire ecosystem of what's going on and say that was just a funky side project,
right?
And we're going back to some canon-driven stuff over here way after the fact.
Let's shuffle these things off into the realm of what used to be bad Star Wars, which was the Christmas special and the Ewok Adventures.
Yeah.
And go, this is part of that Star Wars universe that doesn't really tie into the canon stuff, but you know, let's just put it over here on that shelf. I think that's where it belongs. It's made, we can't take it back, but we can at least shelve it where it properly belongs, over in the laughable shelf of, like, remember when that horrible thing happened? You know, like,
whoopsies. So, it was a whoopsies moment. It really was. So anyway, I wanted to start with a big, hey, sorry guys, I didn't punch back hard enough. I was absolutely repulsed by what I saw from their attempt at character development, their attempt at a storyline. It's all terrible. So anyway, I wanted to lead there first. There hasn't been a hell of a lot that I've been keeping track of since we potted last, because I've been working like crazy to close out before vacation, which I'm on and I'm excited about. And then obviously you've been scrambling like hell to get on the road, plus drives, plus everything.
Plus moving, plus, you know, like, so it's been hard to keep up with anything really. And I think we're kind of in as far as politics, we're in a holding pattern.
Yeah.
Where everyone's waiting for Trump to go to jail or not.
Yep.
We're just kind of climbing and escalating up like towards November to see like what craziness is going to be thrown at us between now and November. But we're kind of in the eye of the storm right before everything hits. And I'm trying to think of anything else. I think it's pretty crazy. I've been watching weirdly because I don't care about regular basketball, let alone women's basketball at all. Like, I've always thought it was ridiculous. But have you seen what they've been doing to that Caitlin Clark girl?
I know that she's sort of the launch pad for like women's basketball. Finally has a Jordan-esque figurehead for this generation, but not so much. Like, I haven't followed any of the Iowa games or any of the like superstardom rise.
Well,
but I understand.
Indiana now. She got picked up by Indiana, I guess.
Okay.
And the only reason I know that is because my dad lives in Indiana. So
Okay. The pro team.
But
or
I
whatever.
really want to hold on. Let me pause real quick before we get into this story. I do want to do a shout out. I want to look into the camera and I want to wish my mom a very happy birthday. Today is my mother's birthday.
Happy birthday.
And I love my mother dearly, and she's fantastic. She's actually watching our dog Cooper and keeping an eye on him. But I love you, Mom, and I just need the world to know that. So thought I'd do it on here on YouTube Live.
Nice. And also, if you're watching us live, apologies if there's a lot of cross vibrations between the microphones here, because this was kind of set up on the fly last minute, because it is what it is. Yeah, it's a little.
We are in the mothership though, so
we're here. Yeah, we're but you know, getting the camera angles right and all that, we'd have to be like this close to get everybody in frame and then talk really quietly into the microphone so it doesn't cross. So sorry, it sounds like shit, but hey, we're doing it live.
Yep.
This is
so anyway, Caitlin Clark. Like I said, I don't care about basketball at all or this, but I found it culturally interesting because statistically, I mean, she is Jordan level, you know, and her popularity and the records that she's been breaking, and that fact that she has that star power that they knew coming out of high school, coming into college, and then going into pro. I mean, she was breaking records all the way up. So they knew that she was going to bring a certain notoriety to a sport that's been waning, that they've been trying to and struggling to find an audience for. Yeah. That even, you know, the only people that I know that even go or know anything about the WNBA are lesbians. And even then, it's just like, you know, like they're only filling like a quarter of the seats, if that, for every game. So they've been struggling to find this audience, and they were like, we deserve it. We deserve an audience. And we're like, well, put up stats that show that, you know. The fact is, you guys will get paid more when more people are in the seats, but you've got to be able to do that.
That's true.
And so, you know, you add the joke, and the proverbial question is like, can you even name one team, you know, like, or more than one player that didn't go to jail in Russia, you know, like, you know, Brittany Griner.
Bill Burr did a great, like, you failed the WNBA skit, where he asks a lot of the very same questions, and it's 100% true.
Yeah, it's 100% true. So this girl shows up and is finally bringing some notoriety, and she's a good player. She seems like a solid, you know, solid person. She doesn't seem like she's gonna, but they are taking a liking to her in the WNBA. In fact, so much so she is getting like flagrantly fouled every game. They're basically beating her up every game. And they refuse to put her on the Olympic team.
Oh my God.
They are like trying to bench her as much as possible. They do not like her. They want her gone. And I was like, well, what is the purpose? And I realized, oh, she is a heterosexual, white, Catholic girl.
Yeah.
And they cannot allow that person to be the savior of the NBA.
Yeah, that hurts.
And that's the reason why that's happening. No other reason. It is pure.
So it's not basketball white girl summer?
No.
Okay.
No, it is not. So, but she's taking it with grace and dignity. She knows that she was kind of up against this kind of thing, but can you imagine that industry going, oh, wait a minute, the one that came in here to bring us to notoriety she has no diversity to her at all. Like she checks none of the boxes that we need to put up the big flag to say, look who saved us. Was
if most rational people agree that this is just another type of bigotry and racism at its core, then why aren't more people shouting about it is what really bothers me. Like, because if you talk to most rational folks, they're like, yeah, actually, that would be this, or segregation, or it would be that, or it would be, being biased or non-inclusive because we're calling somebody out for being white and female and Catholic or whatever. Like, then what is the movement of this DEI influence that we've been talking about since the top of the pod with Star Wars and this? How is that any different than the racism they yell at everybody else for being on the other side? Like, think about that. You know what I mean?
Well,
like, it's the same thing. It's just pointed at a different group of people.
I mean, if you flipped it around and looked at men's basketball and you went through the 60s and 70s when, you had...
Yeah, in the 1960s,
and, all of these...
They were worried about basketball being too black.
Right.
For sure.
And then, but nobody from our era... Even like there wasn't a kid I didn't know that didn't have a Michael Jordan poster, or didn't have a Michael Jordan pair of shoes, or even looked at him as anything other than the god of basketball, right?
An absolute icon. I mean, you look at sports icons throughout time. Muhammad Ali.
Nobody cared. Like,
nobody cared. Tiger Woods. Like,
yeah.
I
mean, Muhammad Ali obviously went through the civil rights era and definitely had his. But I would say that post 1980, we're kind of looking at a different era when it comes to organized sports.
Yeah.
And you're not looking at it like I did not look at Ricky Henderson. I did not look at Jose Canseco. I did not look at any of these guys as anything other than awesome baseball players, right?
Right.
I didn't look at anybody who was on the 92 basketball dream team as anything but awesome basketball players.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing where it's like we rallied around Team America.
Right.
That we just wanted the U.S. to do good.
Yeah.
It wasn't a color thing, and now it seems like that's what dominates.
Pippen and Charles Barkley and all of those dudes, like Karl Malone and all of the '90s kind of era, and then that bled into the Allen Iverson era and the Kobe Bryant era, and nobody looked at these guys and said, it'd be really great, and it'd probably do better if these guys were white Christian dudes,
right?
That never even got uttered because nobody cared as long as those guys put points in, right? Why does it matter in reverse then? Why are we making it such a big deal that this Caitlin Clark girl who can throw 3-pointers and is an incredible ball player who could bring eyes and money to the league,
right?
But we're willing to sacrifice her,
which the WNBA desperately needs,
right?
Yeah,
and we're willing to sacrifice all of that to make sure that the person that we put up the flagpole isn't her,
right?
And that seems
a little counterintuitive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It bugs me. Like I'm guessing the only reason that stuff works now is because it gets traction. Like it gets headlines. Other than that, I don't know. Because almost everyone I talk to is like, yeah, we don't. It's not a racial thing. It's an athlete-driven thing.
Yeah.
Like who's the better athlete?
Yeah.
It's I hadn't heard all that. And that
wild.
sucks. That's
I mean, that wasn't on my docket to talk about, but it's just something that kind of like.
Yeah.
Has been in my feed a lot lately. And I think it's the algorithm that I looked at one story and it's like, oh, you like this? Let me feed you more about the WNBA.
Yeah, 100% is. Like, oh, you might, and I think they need it too. So keep clicking on that stuff.
Yeah, right.
Who knows?
Kidding. So outside of that, I don't know, man. Like, like I said, I've been too busy to really do much.
Yeah.
And it has been a real turbulent month. But and on top of that, we brought our dog with us too. So Arthur,
I think
Jack
in
Russell,
aggregate, I think Arthur's having a good time.
he's having a great time.
Yeah.
So
It's weird because like nobody's used to me having anyone over at the house ever, and no one's used to having dogs and stuff. So I wonder what everyone's gonna be like. Who was that? But like most of my neighbors know you guys are coming, so
yeah,
maybe it won't be a big deal. But I kind of want him to bark as loud as he can, as early in the morning as possible at the neighbors, just to be like, two can play this game, ass.
I can arrange something.
Just chain him up to some, like next to a bird or something he hates, and just have him go to town for like, I don't know, several hours. That would be sweet, sweet revenge for me.
Yeah.
But no, I was talking to a friend of mine about you guys coming down in the visit and stuff, and it's like pretty big for me because I've kind of been guy on couch for most of my life and guy on this guy's couch for a lot of it too. And it's like this is so cool that I'm in a spot where I can have people come visit, like, and I'm not like cramped in a studio apartment, like trying to make ends meet, paycheck to paycheck stuff. I mean, I'm not far off now, but I don't know, it's big. I was like, this is the dream, you know, like this is really cool to be in a position where I can do this. So I'm super stoked we made it work. Water pump and everything. That's
everything's holding up, by the way. I mean, we went out to the Hoover Dam today in
cool spot, huh?
Yeah, that was sweet. That was a lot of fun. We even took the little dog. But yeah, it was a great trip to the Hoover Dam. One of those Americana must see kind of in your travels, and it was impressive. We got pictures. The kids really enjoyed it. We had a good time.
Would you think of the lack of water supply for my area? It's kind of different when you see it up
when
close.
When you see it in person, like you hear about it on a national level.
Yeah.
But and especially with like a lot of the water rights stuff that we've been kind of going over in Idaho.
Sure.
Like Idaho, like unless you want to look like Nevada, you better start taking it seriously now. Because when you see the water levels of Lake Mead, which is the basically the main water source for the entirety of the state of Nevada and parts of Arizona and California and even parts of Mexico.
I don't know about Reno, but for the rest of us, Vegas and South, 100. It's the only source of water we got.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
No, I would imagine Reno has a pretty good source through the Tahoe area.
Just tap into Lake Tahoe, drink that. You guys would be fine.
Yeah. But
don't even treat it.
It was wild. Don't even treat it. It was wild and shocking to see where the water levels, because you can see layers like bathtub rings of where the water is supposed to be and where it isn't. And so here's the thing, like we were talking to you about it and we're like, so what is the cause? Is the cause specifically, is it specifically usage, or is it that you're not getting as much moisture or, you know, rainfall or snowpack that is producing the water to refill the resources?
Yep.
And it's not that. You guys are still getting the same amount. It is literally just overusage. So it is because no one else will find any other water outside of this resource, and it is being tapped out through not only the overabundance of usage within just the Vegas and Nevada region, but also all of the agriculture that California is stripping it of.
Yep.
And for avocados and asparagus and artichokes and that kind of stuff. And they refuse to come to the table to actually cut back or find any way to be more conservative with it, even in the slightest. So now they won't even come to the table, and you guys missed the deadline to help out. To try to figure out a solution.
It's now going to be a federal tells us what to do, because we're so far past the deadline in which was January, that it's whatever they decide to package up and give the southern states, like, this is what you're going to do. So we're going to have to live with those consequences. But what kills me is the only prevailing plans that they have to get more water into Lake Mead, if the snowpack isn't ridiculous in Colorado again, is to desalinate plants, like build 2 desalination plants and pump the Pacific Ocean 4 hours east, or pump the Mississippi River all the way across the southern half of the United States into our area.
That's where we're at.
And that's where we're at. That's what it's come down to. Yeah. So
that's where we're at.
Yeah.
But honestly, with the cobalt mining situation going on and us fighting the federal government right now for our water rights in the state of Idaho, we're not too far off from something similar to this, where we are fighting to figure out where our water is going to come from. We're obviously we're not in the desert, so there's a big difference as far as like being able, but all of southern Idaho, all of our agriculture down there is pretty much high desert. And so you're going to be looking at very similar issues coming up here unless we get some legislators to really tackle it right now. And I know there are a few who are working on it, but I think that there needs to be a pretty heavy focus after seeing what happens when overusage happens through my own eyes and walking down there and seeing where it's supposed to be, and it's nowhere near. And it's actually scary how low the water level is that's coming through the Hoover Dam and Lake Mead itself and all the surrounding areas that you can see where the water levels were supposed to be 40 to 50 to 60 feet higher, if not more, in certain areas. Like it is shocking. And it seems, life moves on and the machine keeps turning down there in the bright lights of Vegas and everywhere around. Just keeps going. The golf courses keeps, and there's no concern for it outside of a small group of people who are like, hey, this is limited. This is finite. Well, what are we going to do?
Yeah. And that's where, like for folks that are watching in Idaho, from a guy that's lived here for 3 years now, it very much, I mean, as cliche as this could sound, like the best time to plant an oak tree is 50 years ago. The next best time's right now. Like, just take some of that stuff seriously and pay attention to it. Cause if we get to a point where we turn into the Salton Sea, essentially, where there's just no feed, it gets to Deadpool level, and that's that. Like, this area is in deep shit. And I think part of me wants to, as selfishly and egotistically as I can say, well, Las Vegas is America's playground for adults. There's no way they're going to let that burn by running dry of water or whatever. No one's really doing anything. So they might. Like, who knows what's going to happen? Or it's just going to be like pay per use to an unbearable degree, at which point it's not going to be a very cost-effective place to live for sure. So, our only natural recourse hope is that we get 125 to 35% of the projected snowfall in Colorado for about a decade in a row, in order to like bring that back up, because we did gain water year before last because of a super aggressive snowfall.
Right.
But most of the infrastructure north of us can't take that because the water runoff causes unbearable mudslides. Like you saw what happened to like Lake Tahoe and all that, because it just pounded snow. It was even worse in Colorado and stuff. So it's a frightening situation when you look around and go, you know what? This is kind of a real thing. And I do, I'm one guy, I do my best to try to conserve as much water as possible, also being a pool owner and contributing to part of the problem. But I don't really consume a lot. Yeah, compared to the average household, I'm deeply below like average consumption, because I drink 2 or 3 of these a day. That's kind of it. Take a shower. That's kind of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you don't even have a lawn.
No lawn. I took the whatever lawn I did have out, just put rocks down. Like, it's hard. It's hard to imagine a future like that for this area, but it would annihilate the industry here. It's something else to see up close. Huh?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. What else? What else we got, man?
I don't know, dude. What plans do you guys have? You're gonna take the kids to see the strip.
Yeah,
tomorrow, show them where the devil hangs out.
Yeah, we're gonna show. Joe's like, this is Sin City, kids, and like, you know, introduce them to a couple of streetwalkers.
This is your life on drugs. Yeah,
so,
real parents.
Yeah, you're like, do you want to be like them? So, yeah, this is your brain on drugs in real life.
It's
like,
true.
Yeah. But yeah, just go down there and kind of play, do the touristy thing real quick.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy. But yeah, that's what we plan on doing. Tomorrow we're gonna go do the cheap family version of walking around Vegas and pointing and looking at things and walking through noisy casinos to show them what goes on there. Because there are paths that you can take kids in, right? Yeah. You can't.
Yeah, you can walk the casino floor even if you're not gambling because there's shops and food and different places. So there's plenty to see and do and walk around.
Not that it's going to be a suit. Like, my kids have spent a lot of time in casinos, but like reservation casinos,
right? For like tattoo conventions
and stuff like that. So
the one thing that I find,
it's a different animal.
it
Vegas
totally
is. A
is.
Animal, yeah.
The one thing I find that's absolutely brilliant about this place from a social experiment perspective, Las Vegas has spent an unimaginable amount of time and money trying to find ways to keep people on the strip.
Yeah.
From intentionally getting lost with different pathways to like very well thought out attractions and food breaks between different attractions and shuttling you off to different shows. Like, they want you spending money and in this area, and then they carousel you and slap you on the ass and put you right on the airplane, which is right at the end of the strip.
Right.
And send you on your way. So it's like you land, you go in, when you come up for air, you're back on an airplane, you're still drunk from the night before.
Yeah.
Like, it's incredible the amount of time they've spent on just that.
The efficiency of sin.
Yeah, like my best advice is have markers of time, like 2 hours from now we must be here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And like, no matter what, so at 30 minutes to where we've got to be, we need to start heading in that direction so we don't get lost. Because you blink your eyes and several hours will go by, even if you're not gambling and stuff. I don't gamble at all. I have no reason to go to casinos except for to check out new restaurants from time to time, which I enjoy. But yeah, it's clever the way they've like condensed things. Can't go here. You have to go around, and that forces you to walk around more retail environments to get.
They learn to bend time.
Totally, but there's so much to do. Like, I would take the kid, if you can get to the Bellagio, they have a beautiful rose garden. Unbelievable. It's like one of the like feature attractions for non-gamblers for sure. There's obviously the milkshake place I pointed out. I would do that. Hit us up in chat if there's other stuff, because I don't really go into Vegas all that much that they should go do. For like non-drinking, non-gambling stuff. But I think that'd be fun. Also, it's good to check as many boxes off while you're here that you can, because I'm pretty close to Zion and Utah. I'm pretty close to the northwest corner of the Grand Canyon, which isn't so far.
I think we're going to try to hit the Grand Canyon.
And if you just kiss Death Valley just to see it, and then come back out the other side, it's awesome. It's really cool.
And we do, like, after this, we're going to go see my grandmother. And she lives in Lake Havasu.
Yeah.
And so we're going to go see the London Bridge.
Nice.
And then we're going to see, hopefully, the Grand Canyon while we're down in that. Is that closer to her or closer to here?
It'd probably be closer to her, I think. Like, where you've got to go to get her is south. Where you would need to go to get to the Grand Canyon is east. From where we're at. So if you left my house and kind of went north and east and then just went over, it's up there. But coming back from her is the best time to see it, because if you intersect with the freeway up there, there's like the whole visitor center and the whole 9 yards. So
what we'll do then on our way
you'd
back
have to
up
veer
here.
off maybe an hour or so up a freeway to get there, and then blaze back in to start heading back.
That'll be totally worth it to take the kids to see the Grand Canyon. So that's what we'll do. But yeah, we're gonna go down and visit her and hang out. I'm gonna see an aunt and uncle that I haven't seen since I was probably 4 or 5 years old. see my grandmother, who I've only seen once since I was like 5 or 6, and I was
Wow.
That was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So she's super excited to see us, and we're gonna go down there. It was supposed to be kind of a big family trip, but the family in Indiana couldn't make it, so we were like, we got to do it, like. And so we're headed down there, and I don't know, I think that's Friday is when we're gonna head down there, like mid-afternoon or something, go down there, and then go check it out. But outside of that, the trip is basically just do those things, stay as cool as possible, don't let the dog overheat, and then head back home. We'll head back to Boise, stay the night there. I did get to mark off one of the things on my list, which was In-N-Out Burger. Today. So
it's definitely a classic. So like among places you would dream of just going and visiting with family, like what else could possibly be accomplished on this trip, do you think?
On this trip?
Yeah.
I don't really know, because I'm kind of a do what we can kind of guy, not like what I'm not a travel dreamer. So but I don't know. I was thinking about, down to Southern California to go visit my other aunt, but I don't even want to go down there. So I was like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to go to Newport or anything like that. So
honestly, I'm supposed to be on a road trip right after you guys leave, essentially. Yeah. And like, we're not certain that we want to go to California at all.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm almost in pure protest, if not just for economically or for entertainment wise. It's become such a or dangerous, like the danger levels, the economic reasons, and all of the other contributing factors that makes California almost like it's not even worth going. But on top of that, just a protest of just like, I don't even want to spend my money. I don't want to spend my money in your stupid state because of you, Newsom, and how you completely destroyed the place that we're originally from and love. Yeah. And I mean,
and I've talked about that before, where it's like, how did we get in 2-3 generations, if that, where it was like, come out west where dreams can come true, and it's a perpetual sunset and pretty girls, and you could make it big in California, and you could buy a home here, and you had all these little homestead plots that were all over the city, and then it just became the most aggressive welfare state, completely bankrupt of morals and economics. And it's hilarious because at the start of last year, I was reading stories about all these pushes to get minimum wage for workers to be raised, for like fast food workers and stuff like that. And I kind of shrugged and went, that's going to cripple your economy, because the only way you're going to stay in business is to raise the price of your goods and services an astronomical amount. And here we are. We have a $15+ an hour minimum wage in California, and an In-N-Out hamburger is like $13.99.
Right.
And it's like, that's what happens, man. And I don't know, California, you look back at it and go, how did we get here? There, there's political and otherwise threads to follow, but it's almost not worth going. Like, I love, if politics weren't a thing, money was not a thing, and this was like, I don't know, the 80s. I don't even know how far back, the 70s maybe. It's like, anywhere in the United States, if you could just live and it's your favorite place, where would you go?
California.
La Jolla.
Yeah.
San Diego, California is where I would be.
Yep.
It's between 79 and 82 degrees forever. I'm right next to the ocean. It's awesome. Yeah. It's amazing. But going there, especially last time I went there and stuff, I can't. Yeah. And so now we're faced with, like, do we even want to go down there? And obviously with like natural phenomena like mudslides and stuff, there's always parts of Highway 1 that are knocked out. So like doing the PCH trip is, sometimes you can't, you have to go around some stuff. But just the fact that he's like, what if somebody cuts up my soft top? What if they try to steal my catalytic converter or just bash my car because it looks nice?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. And that's a legitimate fear. That's
we're
not,
like, yeah, both of us are like, I don't necessarily know that I want to.
That's not speculative. That is literally in the news every day where catalytic converters are being literally. I had a friend in Seattle who was there for 18 hours, never been there before, was just checking it out.
And they stole their catalytic converter.
Stripped it within 18 hours of him entering the city.
Beautiful.
Off of his Prius.
That's our point though, is it's like, well, we both drive relatively high profile project cars. They're not, they're like the Death Star, they're not fully operational. So it's a risk putting them on the road for any length of time, but it's what you do, you have fun. But to go into an area where you're a bit tempting fate like that, I mean, you know, it's easy for me to throw a chain around a bike and keep an eye on it because I can park it directly outside of the window of whatever hotel I'm staying in. A car's a little different. And you know, I just don't want some asshole bashing into it. So we're honestly talking about that right now. Like, well, should we even go there? Do we want to just go elsewhere? And
man, there's other parts of the country that are prettier and safer. So.
The hard part is there's nowhere we're going to get in under 6 or 7 hours of driving that still isn't 110 degrees. Like, that's how deep into the desert I am, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's still going to be fucking miserable. Like, you want to go to Austin for fucking what? It's 105 there and the humidity gets worse. Like, you know, but we'll find a time and place to go have fun. But that was the prevailing plan, was like, maybe we skirt down to California and hang out for a weekend or whatever. And gas prices are high and politics are weird and people are fucking lost and I don't know. So yeah, it's definitely a conversation. So I can't blame you for not wanting to take the family down to see an aunt down there.
No, not at all.
You know, that said, it's like, hey, take a puddle jumper to Vegas. I'm here now. Just come see me where I'm at.
That's basically it. Yeah. So, but that's pretty much it for our trip. I'm looking forward to what's going to be going on in the next couple of days. And, you know, but it is definitely something that my family needed. You know, I can see the excitement and the relaxation that's happening. And fortunately we travel really well. It's like one of the things that we've always loved doing as the four of us is we road trip really well. And half of a 10-hour drive we're sleeping, but the other half we're laughing and making each other joke. You know, we're joking and making each other laugh, and it's been a very joyous event for us to travel, and we've always done really well together. So I wanted that for my daughter turned 18. And I don't know how many more we're going to have, where the four of us are going to be able to get in a car and go somewhere.
I thought you were about to say kids. I'm like, wow, I didn't know you guys were thinking about how many more kids you're going to have. No, how many more vacations you're going to. No, I totally get it. I mentioned it probably last week, but I was like, I feel worse for your daughter because she's missed so many trips before with like the DC stuff and COVID and all this crap. And it's like, man, we can't turn around and send her home 4 hours into the trip, dude. But no, I think that's cool. I also envy the fact you guys can sleep in the car. I can't sleep in a car or an aircraft. So like, I did the Rome thing in 2018 where we went out there for like 10 days or something. 12-hour flight.
Just sitting in the plane.
I watched 4 movies or something and just it sucks. I can't sleep in cars.
Was the lady friends just sleeping the whole time?
Oh yeah. Like, man, I hate you. But yeah, otherwise that's cool that you guys get a chance to do that. So hopefully it's a smooth sailing ride home. I'm really excited you guys get to hang out with your grandma too. It sounds like she's hyped as well.
She's very hyped. She's a spicy lady too. She's 86, which just occurred to me. She's 86. That means she was 40 when I was born. So she's a young grandma. Like, and so, but she's my last remaining grandmother. And from what I understand, she's super fun. You know, the short couple of days I got to spend with her in Indiana 10 years ago, she was great. You know, I've got one picture with her. I don't know why we didn't take more, but, and it's a caricature sketch artist from the street. Like, why not just take a picture? No. Well, it's the one picture where we're hugging each other. She's really little and hugging her, and but that was the only one we got. I don't know why. Like, I mean, there was a lot of family chaos going on during that time frame, but it just seemed like we've done that. But she missed out on, and I missed out on having a grandma with her, but she missed out on all of me growing up and me being an adult and everything. Like, she's never been a part of my life, and I don't really know like how she feels about that. So we're probably gonna have some pretty long in-depth talks, which I'm really kind of looking forward to, kind of filterless, without like my mom or my dad around,
and that's fun, man, because I met my aunt, my biological family side, and my biological mother's sister and I are almost identical in mannerism. So like, and this was 15, 18 plus years ago or something.
Yeah.
And I don't know what she expected in her head, but she started crying when she saw me, because it's like, oh shit, he's an adult. Like, wow. We sat on her porch and smoked cigarettes and drank 2 or 3 bottles of red wine and talked about philosophy for almost 9 or 10 hours.
Wow.
Back and forth. And we're like, she's super chill, kind of a go with the flow. Like, she'll talk about whatever and just enjoy being in the moment for the time being.
Oh, that's cool.
Whereas, my biological mother's very, there's stuff going on. We got to go to the next place. She's constantly moving and stuff.
Yeah.
And while I may be busy and can contend with that in a workplace setting, like when I'm not at work, fuck that. I would rather sit on the couch and meditate, like, you know what I mean? Or like write music or something like that. So yeah, I think you'll have a really great time if there's not the extraneous, like, sides of the family to contend with during those periods of time. I think it'd be awesome, man.
It's gonna be great, and it's just gonna be my family, and my aunt Kim and her husband Andy are gonna come up for a little bit.
Oh,
for
cool.
the most part, it's just gonna be.
Where are they at? Are they like in a big city? Oh, they're also there.
So,
Okay.
But apparently all my cousins, because I have a bunch of cousins I've never met.
Sure.
All my cousins all are on a group Disney cruise.
Oh,
and
God.
So I'm not going to get to meet any of them, but that's fine.
Yeah.
But like at some point, hopefully we'll be able to.
Do you think they lock them in the Disney cruise rooms and force them to watch The Acolyte at night?
Oh, probably. They probably have it on every screen.
Pump drugs into the vents or something.
You like this? Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's one of those things where I'm very excited, and I think that it's going to be really kind of beneficial for the long term of my family.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be good. I'm really excited to do it. But yeah, as of right now, I'm just enjoying being here in the moment.
Me too.
And you have a wonderful house. It's really cool. And so even my dog likes it.
He does.
Real comfortable real quick.
He's moved right in.
Yeah.
It's in the grand scheme of things, it's kind of like a hell of a first house. You know what I mean? Like for all that being considered, but I don't think it's definitely not like opulent by any means.
No.
It's
it's not opulent,
we got work to do, especially in the yard. But I love it. It's one of the things I never thought would happen in my life ever, and then. Doing the whole pricing game of like all the places that I lived, it was not within reach.
Yeah.
And so, I'm very blessed and excited.
The energy, the effort, and the research into finding a house in a location you didn't live. It wasn't in the city you lived in. You had to pick a place and then buy a house in that place. And the neighborhood that you're in and how you picked where you're at was far more in depth than I'd realized. Like, you really, really put your research into this and actually understand what the future holds for the area that you live in, and kind of bought off of future rather than. And I
quite a bit.
Pretty cool. So,
and like one of the big things was sitting in a rental car for like an hour and a half or 2 hours, just sitting in the neighborhood and just observing.
Yeah.
Like, do I hear airplanes flying by? I'm seeing a lot of like travel trailers and RVs that are just chilling in people's yards or out front. They're not being worried about a truck backing up and stealing their shit.
Right.
That's a good sign. Like, so there's a macro view of like, oh, is it a floodplain? Is it, like, where am I at with all that? And I had to check some boxes. Do I have internet for infrastructure? I'm going to be working out of this place, blah, blah, blah. But the micro, like, how far is this from stuff? Is it far enough away from stuff? Because I don't like all that, And yeah, it's, the more I researched, the more other stuff I learned, like, oh, I should probably look into this too, and blah, blah, blah. And for me, in my lifestyle, no kids, no pets. I don't care about the walking score, which is low because you got to drive pretty much to get anywhere.
Right.
I don't give a shit. So for me, it worked out. But yeah, it was
ideal for you.
It was the single hardest process to go through mentally.
Yeah.
Because you're like, and then when you go to sign and you put that much money down, and it's like, this is the single largest purchase. And all of this means nothing until I sell it. Like, it's worth nothing. Like, oh, it's an investment. If and when you sell it, it's an investment.
Right.
And then then you get some capital gains. But yeah, you're right. It was a shitload of research, and at some point I was like kind of burning out on it too, where I was like, oh, just fucking get me one, But overall, I'm stoked, man, and I'm tickled you guys get to come. So yeah, I'm stoked. Yeah.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I mean, I had a couple of like topics to research. I wanted to write something out, and I just didn't get to it. But we definitely wanted to say hi while we were here in person, because this doesn't happen ever, really.
Right.
And I think as an added crazy first, I've presented you, and I've even bookmarked the Gospel by Gen Z for this week. So you get to read us the Gospel by Gen Z.
Oh, yeah.
And if you get stuck somewhere, maybe I probably don't understand it, but I'll try and take a shot at what you're reading if you get crossed up on anything. So here we go, the Gospel by Gen Z.
I get to do the prodigal son.
This is it.
All right.
This is it.
So, chapter 12, the prodigal son of the Gospel by Gen Z. I should have my glasses on for this. I'm going to put my glasses on for the first time, actually.
Well, this is great.
Yep. I normally don't have them on in the live feed because the reflection,
the glare, yeah.
So, Holy Bro began to teach in parables so that, man, I don't even know what this is. IYKYK.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know, saying. Already. All right. There was a spoiled bro who wanted to live his best life, so he manifested it by asking his dad for stacks. He said, "Dad, here's half of all my money, Uno reverse." And he received half of all of his dad's money. Then he ghosted everyone and hit the club, pulling left and right with the rich kid Riz. But he was always too thirsty, and soon he ran out of stacks. Then all the bussin' went away, and he had to earn his bread. But there was no bread, so he was in his feels mood. Then he realized home was always bussin' for free.
Yeah.
And that his dad was the only real one who ever stand him.
Sure.
Yeah. So he entered his sorry era, and he went home to low-key apologize for being so out of pocket. When he pulled up, he prepared himself to catch hands, but his dad said, "Let's go, my boy," and is back with 3 of the flex emojis.
The flex emojis.
Yeah.
You got it. Yeah.
I didn't know emojis were in this.
They're littered in there, and it makes it hard to read live. Yeah, for sure.
Now bro's older bro had no chill and told their dad, me personally, I'm not going to let that slide.
Yeah.
Like, bro was down bad and wasted a lot of money. A lot of spelled ALLAT, by the way. Just because, BC, he was feeling some type of way. And for what? So now you're going to be throwing him a banger? Why you be emoting right now? But his dad said, bruh, life already threw hands with my boy, but he respawned, and now he can finally live his best life. And that is that chapter.
That's it.
Man, that is good. Dude, the artwork is even great.
I was telling you, man.
Yeah. I don't know why this applies to Gen Z, but just
yeah. There's really gorgeous work in there. Yeah.
That do not belong in this map.
Not at all.
But oh man, this is cool.
This is a contradiction.
I'm actually holding it in my hands. I've been looking at it from across the screen.
Oh, it's great.
These are actual oil paintings from 1880. Henrik Ulrich, 1597.
Yeah, a lot of these are traditional prints from what I gather. And then if you turn to the far back of the book, you'll get a glossary of terms.
Oh, yeah.
So if you get jammed up on something trying to figure stuff out, it literally tries to explain it to you or references another word you don't understand, so you have to go find it.
Right.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, this is
incredibly
done. Wow.
Yeah, it's good.
How fun is this?
I really want to force one of your children, not on air, but to read us a story, maybe.
Oh, that would be
one we haven't covered yet. Yeah, because I haven't looked ahead or any of that stuff. I'm trying to save for the content, but I peeked around one or two of them, but it's beautiful. Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to be driving next week. Back up there.
Yeah.
So, but the following week, the next one's going to be a banger.
Yeah, I'll be. That's a good segue. I'll be probably out of office and unresearched for the next week or two, as far as Tuesdays are concerned, with travels and coming back, another set of visitors for the July 4th.
Oh yeah.
All that stuff's gonna transpire, and I'll have Paul, friend of the podcast, will be coming to visit and stuff. We met and talked with him, so we'll try to see if we can hook it up. But if not, I might be out of office for a little bit.
I'm set up and ready to go.
Nice.
So once I get back to the house, which I think we get back on the 26th.
Nice.
Yes. So after that, I'm good to go for the summer.
Beautiful.
So for basically the remainder, I don't know if there's anything else coming up that I'll be out of town for or anything, so I think I'm solid. But
nice.
So no more moving, no more craziness, so we should be good to go.
Hell yeah. So the other thing I should mention, and we'll probably keep it a little shorter tonight, we're about at an hour, but we are launching social media stuff, which is going to be cool. So we just built some accounts. We'll be on X. We'll be on Instagram.
Yes.
We'll be on Facebook.
That is correct.
Anywhere else we'll be, we think?
There might be a couple others. I don't know if
might be a
like
couple
set
others.
Up a Telegram or a,
that might be fun.
Something like that. So oftentimes those Telegram channels tend to get real lively and fun in the chats. So I
had a real short experience with Telegram, and it was wrought with excitement, and I was like, uninstall.
Yeah.
I'm good.
But as far as like for this content, it would be probably fairly fun. And accessible. It makes, Twitter's accessible, but it's kind of from a distance. Where this is kind of more in the chat, kind of. Yeah, because we welcome the feedback and the banter and the conversation and stuff, but we get a lot of our listen time and watch time after we go live throughout the week and stuff, so that might be another theater to reach out and drop us a note or show some support and love or whatever you need. But also just the fact that there'll be access where if we're not going to be live, or if we can tell you, hey, we're going to be live again tonight, you guys have kind of a precursor to that. You have a way to be able to kind of keep in contact with us, and we'll be able to give updates and stuff like, hey, something happened.
That's right.
We're not gonna be able to make it tonight or whatever. But for the most part, like, we should be pretty consistent once you get done with your
more formalized schedule. The summer months are just weird because it's an interesting pivotal push for where I work. Going into the next 3 months are pretty aggressive, and then It's also where I try to block as much time off. And now that I'm, in a hot climate, it's to try and claw my way out of the desert for a little bit before the dog days.
Right.
So, this is always a little hit and miss, but it's life on life's terms, right? Like you just went through a move and had a lot of stuff. So I'm not, oh my God, we have to, we must do it. So
I would like to try to strive for more consistency, but I also understand life happens, and we will work with the bumps in the road and make it happen. So, but
Yep. And we got to, I have forecasted a couple of series that I want to try and research a little bit and then pitch and see if we can kick off some continued content, which is cool. And then as always, there's a few guests that are also traveling that want to come back and come on. So there'll be more coming, guys. We apologize for the intermittentness and also probably the crazy sound quality we're getting from cross-feeding two microphones 5 feet apart. But I'm excited to do this. I'm mostly tickled that we get to do it live in the same room because that's never happened before.
Yeah.
And
I'm wearing the shirt that you got me for Father's Day last year.
Yeah.
My Star Wars Hawaiian shirt, which I think I look pretty good in.
Yeah, it's I like the fit because you got Vader right here.
Yep, right here.
And you can see him plain as day.
Yep, and then we got Boba over here and Stormtrooper up here, Death Star. Yeah, I get a lot of compliments at church in this one.
Nice.
They love it.
So we're definitely going to continue discussions and we'll be a little more prepared. We're both on vacation and just wanted to say hi.
Yeah.
We didn't go anywhere. We missed you guys. Catch up a little bit. I think that's probably it for this week, eh?
That's all. Yeah. I'm actually looking forward to dinner tonight. He's
nice.
He's making Italian tonight. And
we're doing Italian tonight. I'm going to try and go all around the world as best I can, but my pho skills are not great. So
mine are great, by the way.
Well, there we go. Maybe we'll tag team it for tomorrow night. So. But I think that's it for now. Much love. This was really cool getting to put this together on short notice. It's awesome to see him in the flesh. It's good to do this live and say howdy to all you for even a few minutes. A happy birthday to Lucky's mom.
Happy birthday, Mom. Love you.
Yep, we'll come back in the next 3 weeks or so. Keep an eye out for our socials. They're all going to be Modern Relics podcasts, so you can check those out as we start to build a library of content there. So much love. We'll call it a night for here.
Bye, guys.
See you guys. Mm-hmm.